What is up, YouTube? How's it going? Welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are doing well and stuff and things. Obviously, as you know, or hopefully you know, Evolution 3 was announced in the last couple of days. It's very exciting. There's loads of information, clips, discussion about it on Twitter. It's really good to see. And I'm getting excited for it. I'm not going to lie. They've got me a little bit. But today I wanted to take a moment just to talk about one of the main modes in the game, okay? Because I have some thoughts, I have some feelings, and I just thought, let's make a video on it. So we're going to talk about campaign, as you can probably tell on the screen, right? I'm probably going to blow this up in editing, but we're going to start off on the main Evolution 3 website. And then we're going to go into an article, and then we're going to talk about some of the things that kind of, you know, they've been showing in teasers and trailers around the campaign, and what can we expect with this mode, right? So campaign, let's set off on a constant hopping adventure to construct and manage secure havens for dinosaurs around the world. Notice that they say secure havens rather than theme parks and parks. So I definitely think with this campaign, we're going to be stepping away from the whole, this is Jurassic Park, we're here to create a park. I think it's going to be very much almost like Evolution 2 was, especially in the Malta DLC, right, where we're creating these secure, like it says, secure havens. So it's more kind of the Dominion lines of things. You know, we're building a what's the word, like a research facility, I guess. Work with the experts at the Dinosaur Integration Network, which is the new thing that they showed off in the most recent gameplay trailer, and rebuild, interesting, parks across the globe, unlocking new locations, dinosaurs, and more as you complete diverse non-linear scenarios. Okay, so look, non-linear, we're going to go into this a little bit more here in a second, but it definitely harks back to Evolution 1, how the campaign was set up in that. Again, I'll talk about that in here a bit more in a second. As park manager, you must balance often conflicting needs of the different factions at play in your dinosaur conservation. Your choices will shape your campaign as you favor the security, entertainment, and conservation sectors. They will reward you with the new technology, but beware, not everyone will see eye to eye with your mission. Sorry, so that's obviously linking in to the gameplay trailer at the end, where they're teasing the whole sabotage, you know, the cryptic voice at the end of the last trailer. And then obviously, as previous to Evolution 1 and Evolution 2, we have the security, entertainment, conservation, goodness me, that's hard to say, sectors. You know, that's nothing new. We had Dr. Dewar, you know, Isaac, and oh my goodness, my mind is blanking on the other one, my bad. But yeah, we had those three kind of main heads. We did also have that in Evolution 2, but less as much, but it seems like that's just going to be a running theme. And then obviously gaining favors, that was more of a thing in Evolution 2 with the Malta expansion, you know, where we had the black market and how we're you know, liaising with those two things. So it definitely seems that there's going to be a focus on the reputation that we build with these factions throughout the campaign, which is fine. I didn't really like it in the Malta DLC, I'm not going to lie, but you know, it's something else to work towards, something else to focus on. And then, you know, like they say, they're going to tie it in with rewarding you with new technology. So hopefully there's some cool rewards as you gain reputation with these things. You know, security, maybe they give you the security cameras later down the line, all of that good stuff. So we're going to go onto Games Radar article here. So they posted an article, I'm not sure when, but around the time that the game was announced, and there is a section here on Evolution 3's story and setting. So it doesn't give much, you know, it's not going to set spoilers or anything like that, but we're just going to read through it and go through it here, okay? So Evolution 3 will feature a core campaign set across the globe, meaning you'll be able to make parks in various locations in Asia, North America, and Europe. So again, you know, something that's very very common in the trailer is all of these different, you know, sort of landscape scenes, different types of buildings that we can place down. So that's obviously calling back to the fact that we're not just building on, you know, the the 5 islands, you know, the Isla Mataceros, Penna, Sauna, Nublar, all of that stuff. I'd imagine that those islands will probably play a part, but it looks like we're going to be able to go to Asia, North America, Europe, basically the whole globe, right? So very much more in line with the Planet Zoo and the Planet Coaster way of things. You know, you can select a location, you can go build a park there, and happy days, you know. With the preview showing off 2 locations, including one in Japan and one in Malta. The Japan one, really cool. Malta, we're obviously familiar with from Evolution 2. But the Japan one is obviously one that they're focusing quite heavily on. There's actually a screenshot here of what that looks like, you know, with the cherry blossom trees and all of that good stuff. So really excited to get into that. It's going to be something different on how we can, you know, make a park and make it look original to all of our other parks. So I'm glad that there's going to be some variation as to what we're building. Like, not every single park is going to be the same. Game director Andy Fletcher also revealed that the campaign will be non-linear, meaning that you can choose to go to a location and return to any parks you create around the world as you wish. This is great. Something that I didn't really like in Evolution 2 was that there was a non-linearness, yep, that's a word, to the campaign, but it also felt like you were stuck following it. And I hope we go back to more of an Evolution 1 campaign where we can just jump from island to island, park to park. We'll see. Narrative that's set after the events of Jurassic World Dominion, which is interesting. I wonder why we're not going around the time of rebirth, but okay. Which saw people and dinosaurs striving to live in harmony. Check out the review. Yeah, okay. You'll be working as a member of the organization known as the Dinosaur Integration Network, with Jeff Goldblum narrating as your advisor and guide. So Jeff Goldblum is coming back. We heard him in the first announcement trailer. Interesting. I wonder if anybody else is going to be making an appearance. Is Cabot going to be back? You know, Alan Grant, all of that stuff. I'd imagine they'll be there in some capacity, but for right now, they're only letting us know that Jeff Goldblum is coming back. But hey, I'm not going to say no to Jeff Goldblum, okay? Everybody loves a bit of Jeff Goldblum. So with juveniles and breeding now in a narrative and core experience, you'll be setting out ethically set out habitats, oh my goodness, I can't read, and run sustainable breeding programs to maintain the dinosaur presence across the globe. So, you know, the whole thing with this game is we're getting babies, you know, babies, juveniles, growing a dinosaur from birth to old age, right? That seems to be a theme, something that Frontier is really marketing with this game. It was the next right step for the game, in my opinion. And it does seem like there's going to be a heavy focus on not just hatching dinosaurs out of hatcheries, but, you know, placing down nesting sites and having dinosaurs, you know, incubate their own eggs, basically, and create their own population. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works. I'm wondering if, you know, you're going to have to maintain that population. You know, if a T-Rex, if you have a male and female T-Rex and they have a baby, when that baby grows up, are they going to challenge territory? Is there going to be a bit of an issue there? Who knows? You know, I think if they're going to set it up right, I think that manage of population does need to happen. My worry is that just going to be another menu management thing that we're going to have to manage? You know, because we obviously know scientists are coming back, so we're going to have in the campaign we're going to have to manage, right, the park main things, the scientists, the dinosaur needs, and now breeding population. Which, don't get me wrong, it's not a negative. I'm not being negative about this. It just seems like a lot. But hey, I'm excited, man. Like I said, I think the breeding is the next right step. It's just going to be interesting to see how the campaign plays on that. I'm wondering if the campaign is going to be very much like, here's a list of objectives that you need to complete. You know, you need to have 5 Triceratops in the park by 12 months time, whatever, in-game time. The only way that you can make those Triceratops is having nests and breeding sites. Is that going to be a way that the game is going to be structured? Who knows? I did want to throw in this last little section from the trailer here. They showed us that in this game, You know, we can traverse the world, and something that's very keen on that is obviously the 5-star rating. And I'm glad that the 5-star rating isn't going away. You know, this is something key and very core to the game. So I'm glad that the campaign isn't just achieve these objectives, happy days, job done. We're also going to get the whole star rating. You know, we're going to get 5 stars in America, 5 stars in, you know, all of these different places. And I'm glad that that still exists, because like I said, I definitely think it's a core to how, you know, these Jurassic Sims worked. You know, it started with JPOG way back in the day. That didn't have a campaign, and the whole goal with that was to get 5 stars in your park. And I'm glad that that's still a thing in this game. I just hope that it's well balanced, which I imagine it will be. You know, I have no doubts that this game is going to be great, and I'm really excited. You know, the changes in decorations, the changes with the dinosaur behaviors, that's already apparent in the trailers. And now we've obviously got this next level of management in terms of the dinosaur breeding and that sort of stuff. It's definitely going to be the next step up, and we'll have to wait and see, man. We'll have to wait and see how this game runs and how it, you know, the gameplay loop, I should say, not how it runs, but the gameplay loop seems very interesting. And I'm just excited, dude. I'm just excited. This campaign, I think it's going to be similar. I think it is going to be similar to how the previous games have gone. I think it's going to be very similar to the Malta campaign of the DLC in Evolution 2. And obviously our part in it is obviously taking a part in the dinosaur integration network, and then obviously fighting off this, you know, malicious hacking entity, whatever that may be. You know, is it going to be InGen? Is it going to be something else? We'll have to wait and see. But obviously there is going to be some form of sabotage in these parks, and I'm interested to see how the campaign plays out. So make sure to leave a like if you're excited. Let me know down in the comments, what sort of things does the campaign need to be a success in your eyes in Evolution 3? Let me know. And yeah, stay tuned, because we're going to be covering more and more of this game as it comes out, and then obviously doing a campaign run when it first comes out, and we're going to try and get 5 stars on every planet. Every planet? Yep, I'm going to Mars. I'm building... I'm hatching dinosaurs on Mars, guys. I don't know if you guys know, but there's a Mars expansion in Evolution 3. No, I meant parks. Yeah, we're going to try and get 5 stars in every park. You know, like the old days. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I just hope that it's not too menu simulatory. But I'm excited. Hope you guys are as well. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And yeah, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But until then, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.